How to write a good quality Chapter 4, Data Analysis and Findings, Quantitative Study. As a PhD student, writing Chapter 4 of your dissertation, which is the Data Analysis and Findings section, can be a challenging but crucial part of your research. The purpose of this chapter is to present the results of your data analysis, including any statistical tests or measurements you have conducted, and to explain how these findings answer your research questions or hypotheses. To write a good quality Chapter 4 for a quantitative study, you should begin by thoroughly reviewing and organizing your data, using appropriate statistical software to analyze your data, and presenting your results in a clear and concise manner. You should also interpret your findings and discuss their implications in relation to existing literature, and address any limitations of your study. By following these guidelines, you can effectively communicate your research findings and contribute to the body of knowledge in your field. 1. Begin the chapter by introducing the research questions and hypotheses that were developed in the earlier chapters. The beginning of Chapter 4 in a quantitative study is a crucial part where the researcher must introduce the research questions and hypotheses that were developed in the earlier chapters. This introduction should be clear and concise and should give the reader a sense of what they can expect from the chapter. To begin, the researcher should provide a brief overview of the research questions and hypotheses that will be addressed in the chapter. This could include a restatement of the research questions and hypotheses as well as a brief explanation of their significance and relevance to the study. Next, the researcher should provide a clear and detailed explanation of the research methodology used to collect and analyze the data. This could include a description of the data collection tools and techniques, the sample size, and the data analysis methods. After introducing the research questions and hypotheses, the researcher should provide a summary of the data analysis process. This could include a description of the statistical tests used to analyze the data, as well as a summary of the findings and any significant results that emerged. It is important to note that the introduction to Chapter 4 should be written in a clear and concise manner that is easy for the reader to understand. The researcher should avoid using technical jargon or overly complex language, and should instead strive to explain the research questions and hypotheses in a way that is accessible to a wide audience. Overall, beginning the chapter by introducing the research questions and hypotheses is an important part of writing a good quality Chapter 4 in a quantitative study. This introduction sets the stage for the rest of the chapter and helps to provide the reader with a clear understanding of the study and its significance. 1. Describe the data collection process and provide a summary of the sample characteristics. The second step in writing a good quality Chapter 4 in a quantitative study is to describe the data collection process and provide a summary of the sample characteristics. This section should provide a detailed description of the data collection process, including information on the sampling technique, sample size, data collection instruments, and data collection procedures. Additionally, the researcher should provide a summary of the sample characteristics, including demographic information, such as age, gender, ethnicity, and education level. It is important to provide enough detail about the data collection process so that another researcher can replicate the study if needed. The description should include information about how the data was collected, such as the time period in which the data was collected, the location where the data was collected, and any limitations or challenges encountered during the data collection process. The sample characteristics summary should include information about the participants, such as their age range, gender distribution, and ethnicity, and any relevant demographic information that may impact the study findings. In addition to describing the data collection process and sample characteristics, the researcher should also discuss any measures taken to ensure the data is of high quality, such as data cleaning and validation procedures. The data cleaning process should be described in detail, including any procedures that were used to identify and correct errors or inconsistencies in the data. This section should also discuss any missing data and how it was handled in the analysis. Finally, it is important to discuss any limitations of the data collection process and sample characteristics that may impact the generalizability of the findings. 1. Clearly state the statistical methods that were used to analyze the data, and explain why they were appropriate for answering the research questions. In Chapter 4 of a quantitative research thesis, it is important to clearly state the statistical methods that were used to analyze the data and to explain why these methods were appropriate for answering the research questions. This includes providing an overview of the specific statistical techniques used, such as descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, regression analysis, or factor analysis. Additionally, it is important to provide a justification for the use of each technique and to explain how it relates to the research questions and hypotheses. For example, if the study is examining the relationship between two variables, it may be appropriate to use a correlation analysis. If the study is examining the effect of one or more independent variables on a dependent variable, regression analysis may be more appropriate. Overall, it is important to provide a clear and concise explanation of the statistical methods used, and to demonstrate how they were chosen to address the research questions and hypotheses. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Happy study!